Hello students, now we are going to discuss how does the transport of gases will takes place in the humans. Yes, as you know there are only two gases, that is the oxygen and the CO2, whose transport we can study. So oxygen is required for the respiration, as the oxygen will required for the breakdown of the food and for the production of energy. But in response our tissues will produce the carbon dioxide, that is the CO2. Now we will study what is the mechanism is followed for the transport of oxygen and CO2 in our body. So first, oxygen transport. Yes, there are only two ways for the transport of oxygen. First is the solution form, that will take place, that means it will involve the 3% of the oxygen is transported with the help of the plasma, and 97% of the oxygen is transported with the help of the hemoglobin. As you know, hemoglobin is also known as the respiratory enzyme. This hemoglobin is found inside the red blood cells. Yes, inside the red blood cells that are enucleated, means these red blood cells do not have the nucleus. Why? Because hemoglobin will carry the space, just take out the space, and this hemoglobin will bind the oxygen also. So oxygen will bind the iron molecules of the hemoglobin. So how we will study about this? You just imagine that we are just inhaling the air that have the maximum concentration of the oxygen. So when this oxygen will reach to the alveoli, I have already discussed in the structure also, where concentration of the oxygen will be high in the alveoli as compared to the concentration of the CO2. So as you know, diffusion process will carry out for the transport of the gases from higher concentration to the lower concentration. So what would happen? At that time, the concentration of oxygen is high in the alveoli and concentration of the oxygen will be low in the blood. So at that time, this oxygen will diffuse from the alveoli to the blood, and inside the blood there is the hemoglobin. That at that time this oxygen will bind with the Hb, hemoglobin. So there will be the concentration of high of the oxygen, and binding of the binding will be of the oxygen with the hemoglobin will be high in the lungs. Why? Because concentration of oxygen is high in the lungs. Second, concentration of the CO2 is low in the lungs. Third is the temperature is also low in the lungs. These are the three factors. Yes, that is the mainly creating the conditions for the binding of the oxygen with the hemoglobin. So I have drawn here a oxygen dissociation curve. Yes, because binding of the oxygen with the hemoglobin will take place in the lungs. Yes, but where the dissociation will take place? Yes, this oxygen with the help of the hemoglobin is transported to the different tissues of the body. As this oxygen with hemoglobin, that is known as the oxyhemoglobin, will reach to the tissues. In the tissues, you just imagine tissues are using the maximum oxygen. So using the maximum oxygen and liberating the CO2. As the CO2 is producing over there, so temperature will be high. So there are mainly two factors, yes, that is favoring that hemoglobin will leave the oxygen and can bind with the CO2. Yes, these are the high temperature of the tissues, and second is the high concentration of the CO2. If there is a high concentration of the CO2 as compared to hemoglobin, so hemoglobin will leave the oxygen and then bind with the CO2. That oxygen that is leaving by the hemoglobin will pass to the cells, and the CO2 of the cells or tissues will move towards the hemoglobin. So this dissociation curve will indicate that the maximum binding of the hemoglobin with the oxygen will take place inside the lungs. Yes. As these move towards the tissues, then binding will be less. So maximum saturation of the hemoglobin with the oxygen will be take place inside the lungs. So I have mentioned the gas is pressure in the mmHg, and on other side the saturation. So what are the factors that will affect the oxygen dissociation curve? These are the concentration of hydrogen, second is the temperature, and third is the CO2 that I have told you. One more thing is there, that is known as the Bohr effect. Yes, Bohr effect. Yes. What would happen in this Bohr effect? When CO2 bind with water, it will make the carbonic acid. When CO2 bind with water, it will make the H2CO3, that is the carbonic acid. I can write here also, this is carbonic acid. So this is acid, as you know, so it will cause lowering of the pH in the tissues, and this lower pH will induce the oxyhemoglobin to release the oxygen. Yes, that is known as the Bohr's effect. So we can say low pH of the tissues is also inducing the oxyhemoglobin to leave the oxygen. Second is the transport of CO2. Transport of CO2 will take place by three ways. First is the solution form, that means 7% of the CO2 is transported with the help of the plasma. 70% of the CO2 is transported by the bicarbonate ions, and 23% of the CO2 will be transported in the form of carbaminohemoglobin. So there are three ways. So bicarbonate ions. Yes, how this bicarbonate ions will form? As I have told you, when CO2 that is released by the tissues is bind with the water, it will make the carbonic acid. At that time, carbonic anhydrase enzyme will facilitate this reaction. After that, this carbonic acid will break down, will produce the H plus ions and bicarbonate ions. These are the H plus ions that can be utilized by the proteins. But you just imagine here what is going on. That means maximum H plus ions are producing in the tissues. Yes, and these H plus ions, this bicarbonate ions will maintain the pH of the tissues. So these are responsible for the chloride shift. Yes, chloride shift. Yes, because maximum of the CO2 will bind with the water and to form the carbonic acid. At that time there will be imbalance of the ions. So to make a balance in between the ions, chloride ions will move from plasma to RBC. What I have mentioned, chloride ions move from plasma to RBCs. Why? To maintain the ionic balance, that is known as the chloride shift. Next in this you can see, as you know, oxyhemoglobin that is reached to the tissues when there is a concentration of the CO2 will be high. At that time, this concentration will induce the oxyhemoglobin to leave the oxygen, because CO2 will bind with the hemoglobin. So this will leads to the Haldane effect. Haldane effect, yes, binding of the oxygen with the hemoglobin displace the CO2 from the blood. Yes, this is the oxyhemoglobin that is reached to the tissues, and CO2 is produced by the tissues. This is only leads to that CO2 will be released from the tissues, and that CO2 will be bind with the hemoglobin and leave the oxygen, and that oxygen can be utilized by the tissues. So these are the main factors that can help in the transport of gases inside the human beings. Thank you, beta.